Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson, BamaInsider.com, back at it again with another practice observation piece. Today, I'm talking about the quarterbacks. I'll lead out with Tua Tagovailoa, also going to talk about the outside linebackers and inside linebackers. But as you can see, Tua has looked phenomenal during these first few days of fall camp, and you would expect nothing less from the junior, soon to be gone from Alabama. I know, Crimson Tide fans, it makes you sad, but enjoy him while you have him here. Behind him is Mack Jones, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Is the talent gap between Tua and the second and third quarterback, is it that great that Alabama could be in trouble if something was to happen to Tua this season? Or do you feel that Mack Jones and Tua Tagovailoa, for example, are capable enough to hold the rope should they have to step in a critical game situation? If you're curious to know who number 7 and number 19 is, Braxton Baker's number 7 is son of Jay Barker. Number 19 is Stone Hollenbeck. Now, I'm throwing it out there because I feel that way. I have to be straight with you guys. I think Tua is such a talented quarterback, and then behind him, it's going to take a little bit of time, and I'm not sure if these quarterbacks could rise up in a game situation with the game on the line late in the season against some deep competition. I'm talking about competition that is some of the tops in the country, against teams like LSU, against teams like Auburn. Look at that throw by Tua. My goodness, that was just an incredible toss. Actually, all these guys have been making progression, but I mean, it's easy to throw on air. I mean, that pass right there probably has a little bit too much air on it. But I think that these guys really need to prove to Saban, prove to their teammates that they can lead this team when Tua has to step out. Now, whether that be Alabama be up by, 3 touchdowns or more late in the year, whether that means, Tua has a nagging injury and he can't go for a quarter or something like that. I mean, these younger quarterbacks have to rise up, and I'm curious to see if they can do that this Saturday during Alabama's first scrimmage. Now, they're going to have some time before that Duke game, but I just think from what I've seen, the quarterback talent behind Tua, there's a big gap between the number 1, the number 2, the number 3 quarterback on this team. And I get it. Tua's the top quarterback in the entire country. But these younger guys have to step up. And I really want to see Mack Jones take leadership when he has a leadership opportunity and take this offense down. And I'm curious to see if he can do that under Steve Sarkisian's play action offense. And I think that, in my opinion, Tua Tagovailoa is close with Mack Jones for that number 2 quarterback position. I think when you look at quarterback battles, it's probably a battle that we don't really talk about. Maybe it's not even a big deal, but I think Talia is that talented. I think he's a playmaker, and I think he's someone that can push Mack Jones for that number 2 position. And I guess we'll just have to see how things go in that regard. Now, I know a lot of you are talking that I've been sleeping on Paul Tyson. I'm not sleeping on Paul Tyson. Paul Tyson is going to get his. He's going to develop, and I think eventually Paul Tyson is going to lead this Alabama offense to great things. However, I just think it might take some time for him to get on the field just because of the depth that you have right now at the quarterback position, with Tua being here, Mack Jones, and Talia being a little bit ahead of him. But I think if he sits and waits and develops and trust the process, so to speak, he's going to get his, and I think he's going to do a great thing. But I do like Talia, and I do like where he's at right now, but I just feel there's a big gap between Tua and the rest of the quarterbacks on this roster. Now, as I mentioned, I wanted to talk about the outside linebackers. A lot of feedback from Sal Sinceri video clips, right? He's always on these guys. There's Christopher Allen on the left. It looks like he's ready to go. Right behind him, Jerez Parks. A lot of people have asked me about Jerez Parks, and then there's Kevin Harris as well. Chris Allen looks like he's coming around, and there's Ben Davis up at the front. I think Ben Davis has been making some strides. I think he's going to get on the field this year. I know everyone's really excited about him getting on the football field. Noticed yesterday that in the drills, big Terrell Lewis right there, who looks completely jacked, not participating in these individual drills. And I think that's part of the plan during fall camp. Is Saban said this already, that they're going to find ways to see how much he can go, when to hold him out, and not overly push him. I mean, he's an NFL type player that you don't need to push. They need to see how that knee is holding up. And from what we've seen and from what we've talked with Terrell Lewis, even himself, he said that, he's 100%. He's ready to go. So don't let that clip by him being out scare you. Terrell Lewis is going to be just fine. Sal Sinceri always coaching these guys up. Yesterday it was funny. He told these guys, and you can hear him yell out, "You're not in high school anymore." And you can see him getting with King Makuta right here. Do it again. Do the drill again. A lot of emotion, a lot of character coming from Sal Sinceri. He's got that old school coaching style approach, which I think is good for the outside linebackers. I mean, just a year ago, they were getting coached up by Tosh Lupoi, who also brought the fire. And when you're working with young men of this caliber, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you need someone who can light them up, can get them fired up, get them going. And I think Sal Sinceri, obviously that guy, he's bringing the heat, brings it every single day. And here's Kevin Harris, who I think a lot of people are really excited about, and rightfully so. He's just a freshman, which is pretty incredible. Now switching to the inside linebackers, you have Joshua McMillan and Dylan Moses, who looks like those guys are going to be the ones right now at the inside linebacker position. And Joshua McMillan, as Pete Golding told us during media day, he's a very intelligent young man, but he might not have the talent that some of these other inside linebackers have, but his leadership and his intelligence on the field is what makes him right now rep with the ones. Now, you have some other guys who are going to push him as we get closer to the season, and I think who are also going to get reps. Right there, number 36, that's Marquel Benton. Someone who, has looked good all fall camp. And then Jalen Moody's another guy who looked great last year playing as a freshman. We saw him a lot on special teams, and a guy who can certainly bring the wood and has a nose for the football. And then looks like Ali Cajo has put on some good weight. I thought at times, he's right here, number 10, that he was a little bit too thin, looked more like a safety, but I think he's starting to really fill out, and I think good things are expected from him. And here's Christian Harris, number 8 on the right. He's a true freshman who just arrived in the summertime. And he moves great. Remember, at the high school level, he played receiver, he played corner. So this is, and there's Shane Lee right there. It looks completely jacked. But Christian Harris is a guy who I think is going to need some time to learn the inside linebacker position. But I think overall, from an athletic standpoint and from his overall build, I think, Alabama has someone special at that inside linebacker position. And he's only going to get better moving forward, especially working with Pete Golding, as we've talked about, one of the best in the business. Hey guys, thanks for following us on our practice observation piece. I'll be back at it again with Friday's practice observation piece. And then remember, Alabama has their first scrimmage of the season on Saturday. Hey, if you like what you see, subscribe on YouTube. And of course, please give us an opportunity to earn your business at BamaInsider.com. Free 30 days is simply Roll Tide. That's the promo code. You can email me anytime, Kyle at BamaInsider.com. And college students, I know you're back at school. Hit me up for that college promotion. We've all been there time to time, getting by month to month. We can hook you up at BamaInsider.com. Just hit me up on email. Reporting from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Reporting from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I should say. This is Kyle Henderson, BamaInsider.com.